Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Are we on the cusp of an Indian gold rush? A 3,000-ton gold mine has been found in a province in northern India. Let's explore. Yes, this comes to us from news18.com, which I've not heard of that source before. I think it's a local source in India. But the UP government has started the process of allocation of blocks where gold is said to be found. And so, we're not sure exactly the verification of all of this information here, but we'll kind of explore it and take it to a couple of different levels with a cryptocurrency source as well too. This is quite interesting, fascinating, and also amusing. Indeed, this is a large reserve of gold that has been confirmed in Hardi village in Kone region of Sonpahadi in the Mahuli region of India. The Uttar Pradesh government is preparing to auction tons of gold reserve found in Sonbhadra district of the state. As per reports of the Geological Survey of India and Uttar Pradesh Directorate of Geology and Mining, the estimated gold is said to be around 3,000 tons at Sonpahadi and Hardi village area. The UP government has started the process for allocation of blocks where gold is said to be found. A large reserve of gold has been confirmed in Hardi village in Kone region and Sonpahadi and Mahuli region. The government has also constituted a 7-member team for auctioning of these blocks through e-tendering process. That's interesting. The team will be geotagging the entire region and will submit its report to the Directorate of Geology and Mining. Look now by February the 22nd, which is actually today, and that is the publication date of this this article as well. As per the official letter of the Uttar Pradesh Directorate of Geology and Mining, 2,943.26 tons of gold reserve is said to be at Sonpahadi, while 646.15 kilos of gold is said to be at Hardi block. As per the World Gold Council, India currently has 626 tons of gold reserves. The new reserves are almost 5 times that amount and estimated at, I don't know, that's the rupee, I guess, value, Lakat Kore. So this is definitely a source, but we know that's worth a lot of money. The work for finding gold reserves in Sonbhadra started in the year 1992-93 after the Central Geological Survey of India took over. It was reportedly the British who first initiated the process to find gold reserve in Sonbhadra region. Speaking to the media, Dr. Prithvi Mishra, who has worked for the Geological Survey of India in this regard and retired in 2011, said the gold reserve in the region is divided into 2 parts. Mishra had also revealed that information at the time of his retirement and claimed that there was a rock made of gold, which is almost 1 kilometer long, 18 meters high, and 15 meters broad. Very interesting. Quite a discovery, if that is the case. But the thing is finding these reserves and actually extracting them is probably a different matter. So I don't know how much weight we can hold in this as far as the actual getting the metals out and how they're auctioning it off, or if it could even literally just be, who knows, overzealous reporting on. But these numbers are relatively fine-tuned, precise anyway. But we have to trust the Geological Survey of India and the Directorate of Geology and Mining for these numbers. But let's say that is the case, and these things are auctioned, these blocks are auctioned for mining, and where this gold gets distributed, how much of that, if that much gold is put into the marketplace, is it going to have an effect on price? Well, according to the newsbtc.com, which is a cryptocurrency website, yes. And they are saying that this thing is going to definitely be a game changer based off of their other claims. This is really kind of interesting and amusing, because they're making so many assumptions in this article, and it's quite silly. We'll go through it here. It's often argued that Bitcoin is superior to gold in multiple ways. It's more divisible, easier to transport and store, and programmable. Bitcoin is also scarcer than gold too. In fact, as the former asset's issuance rate is on the cusp of a dramatic cut, the latter is prone to massive inflation at any given moment. So here it refers back to the article on News 18 that as geological survey has uncovered more than 3,000 tons of gold in India, the government of the state of Uttar Pradesh is looking to auction the gold off before it's even out of the ground. And that makes me a little bit nervous, and again, you think about that statement alone should give you a little bit of reserve on this claim over here. It could be a scam. You don't know. The Geological Survey of India and Uttar Pradesh Directorate of Geology and Mining reported that reserves in metal have been confirmed in Hardy Village in the region, Kone and Mahuli, as I read before, and it talks about that. And here is a tweet talking about it. And but this newsbtc.com is quick to just accept it as complete fact. And I'm a little skeptical myself, but according to the report by the World Gold Council, around 190,000 tons of gold have been mined globally to date. So 3,000 more tons, if it could be pulled out of the ground in a short few years or whatever, would be a pretty dramatic increase, at least by what's available right now. The recent discovery in India therefore represents an instant 2% increase in total circulating supply, or it will soon as miners haul it out of the ground. And then it goes on to make the argument for Bitcoin a sounder money than gold. And again, I'm going to go through this, and make no mistake, I'm not anti-Bitcoin or anti-cryptocurrency. I just think that stories like this are a little bit amusing, considering the assumptions they make about Bitcoin, and we'll talk about that especially in comparison to what the claims they're making here. The discovery highlights the fallibility of gold and the superiority of Bitcoin in terms of an investment asset. Well, let's pick apart that sentence quite succinctly here. The fallibility of gold and the superiority of Bitcoin in terms of an investment asset. Well, a speculative asset, maybe. And an investment class, well, yes. I don't see gold as an investment. Gold is a hedge. It has a track record of thousands of years as being an object of wealth. It is a safe haven asset. It is money, and this is where I think the similarity between the two. Bitcoin is still relatively new, and that is the thing that is the craze right now in cryptocurrency. Is the king of all cryptocurrencies, but MySpace was the king of all social media just a few short years ago. What is created digitally can vanish digitally really just as easy, and something else could take its place very quickly. And so rarity doesn't matter about rarity, about anything. I mean, platinum is rarer than gold, but for several years now it has been cheaper than gold. And it goes on to say here that Bitcoin, as well as being cheap to divide, store, and transport, is actually much scarcer than gold too. Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, she, they, or it was, designed an elaborate security model and incentive structure to ensure that there would only be 21 million Bitcoin. Gold, on the other hand, is comparatively abundant in the universe. Well, yeah. I mean, if you set an arbitrary number that say only this many can be done based off of an algorithm in the blockchain technology that's based off of Bitcoin, yes. But then you have Bitcoin Cash and what other forks that you derive that is under another level of the blockchain. Then you have well over 3,000 other cryptocurrencies out there that compete with Bitcoin. Um, you know, how long will Bitcoin last? It's the king of the castle right now, but who knows? It doesn't matter if there's 21 million or 5 million of them out there. If people abandon it in due course or regulations stamps it out, then it doesn't matter. There's a huge amount of gold many miles beneath every one of our feet, according to the ABC Science article. That is enough gold. There's enough gold at the core of the Earth to cover the planet entirely with a half-meter layer, and that's probably true. Let's give that as a possibility, that it's truth. In fact, I talked about that in the ocean, how much gold there is in the ocean, as well as in the Earth's core, and underneath our feet there. So, well, what does that have to do with anything? Getting it out and extracting it is a whole nother matter at the cost to do so. Doesn't consider, the article presses on, that gold's certainly out there in the universe, as News BTC previously reported, and we covered that and sort of laughed at it. NASA detected a massive asteroid containing around $10 quadrillion worth of gold last year. That would make everybody a billionaire. That's right. You remember that video I posted, and it says that the space agency also says it's going after the loot in 2022. Good luck with that. And the thing is, all they're going to do is they're going to check it out, the asteroid, and they're going to do some testing just to see if it really is the case. No one knows for sure. But News BTC is obviously banking on that in order to prop up Bitcoin, as if there's really any contest between Bitcoin and gold. There shouldn't be. It's okay to have both. People have both, and they serve really different purposes. And by the way, gold can be divisible digitally. You've heard all these different digital gold, which operates under the blockchain technology. I've talked about that on my channel. As far as some of these bullion dealers have ways that you can buy digital gold in increments as small as $1, or whether for the 1,000th of an ounce. It's just a digital representation of gold that can be cashed out for actual physical gold down the road. That's where the future is. So again, make no mistake, I'm not against Bitcoin. I'm certainly not against the technology behind it. That's the future for sure. But I think some of these claims are a little bit silly. Gold's value proposition might have looked rock solid 5,500 or even 100 years ago. However, with technological advancements allowing for increasingly accurate geological surveying and the capabilities of space travel, allowing trips to distant asteroids to bring home the riches of the cosmos, it starts to look a lot shakier. Well, I think they're taking a giant leap here before the technology can really get there. Yes, there are a lot of technological advances in mining, but nonetheless, gold is rare and will continue to be rare. And and some of these far-fetched discoveries that they're talking about here, I think, are a little bit out of the realm of reality anytime within the next decade or even 50 years, really. But the article says that's okay, too. Money is the technology after all, and technology is ever-changing. That's for sure. That statement right there about technology is ever-changing is the reason why they should be very careful with how they back up Bitcoin compared to other technologies and other digital ledgers that are out there, such as Hashgraph and others that we haven't even conceived of yet, that are more efficient, require much less energy, and are easier to store and just as secure, if not more secure. And more than likely, Bitcoin is not going to be a part of those new technologies. While history makes it clear that a hard money like gold or Bitcoin, which I disagree. Bitcoin is not hard money at all. It's not an asset that you can touch. But it says it's important. There is nothing to say that a technology closer to a perfect monetary asset cannot disrupt what has served well before it. Well, the thing is here's the fact of the matter. I think that most of us out there agree. By the way, Bitcoin is up 9,700. It's up to $9,705 here. We can see here, and there's another hard asset, rhodium, that is beating it by a mile, or a long shot at least. It's up to $12,000 now an ounce. So there's that to take into consideration. If you want to talk about speculative assets and the like, look at rhodium. But in spite of that, it doesn't matter about where technology goes. Gold has survived literally thousands of years as a store of value. And this gold rush in India, I'm skeptical about, really, especially when they talk about auctioning off the gold before it's even out of the ground. I thought it was really talking about auctioning off the rights to mine it, but maybe there's a misinterpretation there. But I think it's funny that this Bitcoin is making that assumption here. So we'll see. But regardless, it's something to keep into account. I think gold, most of the gold that's been discovered today, I think, even with given the advances in technology for mining, I think there's only so much blood you can get out of a turnip. And I think we're at that point with gold, and finding these new reserves and new areas. I think if this thing was discovered in the 90s, this area, they probably would have already mined a lot of it by now, especially in India, considering how much gold means to their culture. So I doubt some of this, really, and I think this is a long shot for News BTC to take on this, to try to essentially downplay gold and promote Bitcoin as such. It really doesn't need to be a competition, because they serve two different purposes in my view. One is very speculative, but it's stabilizing as a form of digital value, but only moderately, and there's no really promise that it will stay that way. With gold's track record of thousands of years, you can bet your bottom dollar and whatever else you have or bet your bottom Bitcoin that it is going to last forever, and that it will remain a store of value no matter what technology does, or unless there is any inkling of truth that this gold is going to be taken out of an asteroid or out of this huge region in India. Even as such, it would literally take something like that for the supply to be as such to cause the price to go down. And even as such, it's not going to go down by a whole lot, especially with this Indian deposit, in my view. Post your thoughts below. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching, and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.